In the once unshakable landscape of Labour dominance, Wales has long been viewed as a fortress, an eternal stronghold of red politics. For generations, voters have backed the same party regardless of results, believing that Labour's rule over Wales was as immovable as its mountains. But now, something extraordinary is happening, something that should deeply concern Sir Keir Starmer and anyone invested in maintaining the political status quo. Reform UK is not merely competitive in Wales. It's leading. The party is surging ahead in the polls, openly declaring its intention not just to win seats, but to seize control of the Welsh Parliament and form a government. A Reform victory in the upcoming Caerphilly by-election could trigger panic within Labour ranks, intensifying fears that Starmer is heading for humiliation in May's mega-elections across the Scottish and Welsh parliaments and in councils throughout England. This isn't hype from overexcited activists. This is a genuine political shift. Wales, Labour's most loyal stronghold for more than a century, could soon fall to a party that didn't even exist in its current form just a few years ago. Welcome to UK Insider, where we examine how decades of Labour failure in Wales have created the perfect conditions for a political earthquake, one that could reshape British politics. Subscribe now for daily analysis revealing why Reform UK may soon achieve the unthinkable, forming a government in Wales. At the center of this movement is Loy Powell, a 30-year-old Reform candidate who represents a new generation of politicians unburdened by the baggage of establishment party machines. Powell's ambitions are clear and unapologetic. "Our goal is to take control of the Welsh government, not just win seats," he says. "We want to use those levers of power to make life better for the people of Wales." It's a bold declaration, a far cry from the cautious language of traditional opposition parties. For decades, challengers in Wales have sought only to increase their seat count or become the largest opposition bloc. Powell, however, is declaring nothing less than an outright bid for majority control. The Caerphilly by-election will serve as a critical test of Reform, UK's newly professional campaign machine, a far cry from its origins in UKIP and the Brexit Party, which were often dismissed as protest movements lacking structure. Reform has now invested heavily in campaign infrastructure, data operations, and ground organization to compete with established parties. Powell acknowledges one of Reform's biggest challenges: converting strong polling numbers into real votes. Many of their supporters have been disillusioned for years, alienated from politics entirely. It's about getting them to the polling station, he admits. That's the real test, but he's noticed a significant shift. Voters aren't just angry at Labour anymore, they're proud to identify with Reform UK. That's a crucial distinction. Protest votes fade when frustration fades, but genuine identification creates lasting loyalty. Powell believes this signals a deeper political realignment in Wales. "I think Reform is now the major party in Wales," he declares confidently. A bold statement, considering Reform currently holds just one seat in the Senedd, through Laura Ann Jones, who defected from the Conservatives. Yet Powell's confidence isn't based on parliamentary arithmetic. It's built on momentum, the energy of rallies, the enthusiasm of volunteers, and the visible collapse of Labour support. Even within Labour, there's growing panic. One senior Welsh Labour figure described the party's situation as a complete and utter storm of catastrophic proportions. Their internal assessment matches Reform's external confidence. That insider went further, offering a brutal critique. "It's hard to look like an insurgent. Radical party when you've been in power at Westminster for 15 months and in the Welsh Parliament for 26 years. 26 years. More than a quarter century of uninterrupted Labour rule. An entire generation has reached voting age knowing nothing else. And what do they have to show for it?" According to that same insider, Labour in Wales forgot the basics. They became obsessed with constitutional reform, power grabs, and procedural tinkering, while neglecting the fundamentals: education, health, transport. The result? Schools failing, hospital waiting lists growing, roads crumbling, public transport stagnating. Constitutional reform doesn't fix hospitals. It doesn't raise exam results. It doesn't fill potholes. but it does let politicians appear busy while avoiding accountability. For over 2 decades, Welsh Labour has had the authority to transform public services and has failed spectacularly. Now, the electorate appears ready to deliver judgment. Powell's strategy focuses on the basics: organization, enthusiasm, turnout. Leading in polls is meaningless without actual votes, and Reform is determined not to repeat the mistakes of past insurgent movements. A new YouGov poll puts Reform first in Caerphilly with 42% support, ahead of Plaid Cymru on 38%. While Labour has collapsed to just 12%, a catastrophic low for a party that once dominated Welsh. Politics Powell's vision is unapologetically ambitious. We want Wales to become the first common sense nation under Reform leadership, he says. Winning the next Senedd election isn't just our goal, it's our duty. His clarity and energy stand in stark contrast to Labour's exhausted messaging. A party drained after 26 years in power, offering more of the same policies that have left Wales trailing England and Scotland in prosperity and public service quality. If Reform wins Caerphilly, it won't just be a symbolic victory. It will prove that the party can win real contests in a nation where Labour has dominated every Westminster and Senedd election for over a century. Such a breakthrough would send shockwaves through the entire British political system. For Starmer, the implications go far beyond Wales. If Reform can overturn Labour's most loyal stronghold, they can win anywhere. From English councils long held by Labour, to Scottish constituencies Labour hopes to reclaim from the SNP. If Wales falls, Labour's national strategy collapses with it. Mega elections could deliver a night of reckoning for Starmer. Humiliation far greater than any current polling woes. Suggest Reform's surge in Wales represents something deeper than temporary protest. It's the culmination of years in which Labour took working-class communities for granted, communities that now believe Labour no longer shares their values or priorities. On immigration, national identity, crime, and traditional values, Reform's message resonates where Labour's metropolitan progressivism does not. Labour's fixation on constitutional power has come at the cost of connecting with ordinary voters. Powell insists this is no short-term rebellion. It's a permanent realignment, a generational shift in loyalty. If Reform wins Caerphilly, then wins control of the Welsh Parliament in May, Labour's fortress becomes Reform's launching pad for expansion across Britain. As one senior Welsh Labour insider put it, the situation is an absolute catastrophic disaster. After 26 years of power, Labour is now confronting the consequences of its own neglect. Reform UK, led in Wales by young, unapologetic candidates like Loy Powell, is ready to capitalize on that failure. Not just to win seats, but to win government.